He doesn't own a yacht, wears the same $20 watch for years, and yet he's worth over $100 billion. This is the untold story of Warren Buffett, the man who beat Wall Street with patience, simplicity, and a strategy anyone can follow. Warren Buffett wasn't born into extreme wealth. He was born in Omaha, Nebraska in 1930, during the Great Depression. His father was a stockbroker, and from a very young age, Buffett was obsessed with numbers and business. At just 7 years old, while other kids played outside, Warren was buried in books like 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. By the age of 11, he bought his first stock, 3 shares of City Service at $38 each. The stock dropped to $27, but instead of panicking, he held on. Eventually, it rose to $40, and he sold. That $2 profit taught him a lesson he'd never forget. Patience pays. But soon after, the stock shot up to $200. And Buffett learned something even more important. Don't sell too early. That one trade became the foundation of his investing philosophy. Buy great businesses and hold them long term. The snowball begins rolling. By the time Buffett was a teenager, he'd already filed his first tax return and was running multiple businesses, from delivering newspapers to selling chewing gum and Coca-Cola door to door. He even bought a pinball machine and placed it in a barber shop, turning it into a small income stream. By the time he finished college, he'd saved nearly $10,000. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $100,000 today. But what set Buffett apart wasn't just hustle, it was obsession. He studied under Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing at Columbia University. Graham taught him one golden rule: price is what you pay, value is what you get. Buffett took that to heart, and he started analyzing companies not for short-term gains, but for their intrinsic value, what the business was truly worth. If the stock was trading for less than it was actually worth, Buffett saw it as a golden opportunity. The birth of Berkshire Hathaway. In the early 1960s, Buffett discovered a failing textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. Most people saw a disaster. Buffett saw a way in. He started buying shares aggressively and eventually took control of the company. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of focusing on the struggling textile business, he used Berkshire as a vehicle to invest in other companies, insurance firms like GEICO, which gave him access to float, a constant stream of cash from premiums that he could invest elsewhere. This was genius. He used other people's money to invest in businesses he believed in: Coca-Cola, American Express, Dairy Queen, See's Candies, and dozens more. Every dollar he invested was chosen not because it was trendy, but because it had long-term potential. Buffett's 3 rules of wealth. Over the decades, Buffett's net worth grew at a pace that stunned the financial world, but he kept things incredibly simple. In fact, his formula boils down to 3 timeless principles. 1. Invest in what you understand. Buffett avoids complex tech companies or businesses he doesn't understand. If he can't explain how a company makes money in a few sentences, he won't invest. 2. Buy and hold. Forever. While others trade stocks like poker chips, Buffett holds for decades. His average holding period isn't months, it's years, sometimes a lifetime. 3. Stay rational in a crazy market. When others panic, Buffett stays calm. He once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." It's that discipline that allowed him to buy billions worth of stock when the 2008 crash hit. The billionaire who still lives modestly. What shocks people most is how Buffett lives. He still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958 for $31,500. He drives a regular car, eats McDonald's for breakfast, and prefers Coke over champagne. He doesn't chase luxury. His wealth is in his mindset, not his mansion. His idea of success? Do what you love with people you love. Philanthropy. Giving it all away. Despite being one of the richest men alive, Buffett has pledged to give away over 99% of his wealth. Through the Giving Pledge, which he co-founded with Bill Gates, Buffett is actively redistributing his fortune to causes like education, health, and poverty alleviation. He believes money should be used to create value, not just luxury. Buffett's legacy, lessons for anyone. Warren Buffett's story isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about clarity, consistency, and compound growth. He turned $100 into over $100 billion by doing the opposite of what most investors do. He didn't chase trends. He didn't time the market. So, he didn't let fear or hype dictate his decisions. He stayed focused. He stayed patient. And most importantly, he stayed humble. If Warren Buffett could build an empire starting with $100 and a few good decisions, what's stopping you?